All right. Hello there. Welcome into another episode of the WTH podcast. Hi there. My name is Nate. That's Jason. That's Kareem. And this is an iPad that's probably going to die during the show. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
We're professionals. We'll wing it if we have to. It is all good in the neighborhood. Thank you for joining us from Australia to India, across Europe, into North America. No one in South America, though, right now.
No one in South America.
Nope.
Damn it.
Nope.
Well,
It's cutting into our 90-day fiancé opportunities here.
let's figure it out how to entice them to listen.
You should wax something.
So, yeah?
Brazilians.
Ooh, I'll get a manzillion or a ballzillion.
Ballzillion. All right.
I look
It's-
like Superman, baby.
It's one ballzillion degrees here in Sacramento.
It is.
I don't know how everything is for everybody around the country. It's hot as balls here.
Really?
Yeah, Hyundai today.
I would have had no idea.
The inflatable pool is out in the yard.
I bet.
Out. New inflatable pool. Exciting times. We got a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old in an inflatable pool. Had it out Sunday, and I went out, left the water in it, went out today, Monday, and the water is all still there, which is great, but it's 3 inflatable rings, and the top ring had deflated.
Oops.
So I don't know if there's a slow leak or what the situation is, but I manually blew it up. So clearly I'm doing much better from my COVID, because I was able to do that without passing out or feeling like I was going to die.
Jesus, I'm having an asthma attack just thinking about it.
Coming up on the show today, I'm not going to promise anything, because if this dies, we're winging it.
Yeah,
So,
baby.
I don't know how long. This is an old iPad. It's 100% charged. Will it last an hour?
Who knows?
Who knows? I don't.
Well, no wonder we're having all fuck that first gen iPad, motherfucker.
This is an iPad Air.
Oh, fuck
2.
you. Oh, yeah, fuck you, iPad Air 2s.
With a cracked screen. This is no longer support. Is this? Yeah, I think this one is still supported by Apple.
Oh, so it's
Ironically.
it's almost like to the point where you just wipe your butt on it.
The next generation of iPads that come out, I believe we will lose support for this.
Yeah.
But I mean, shit, I've had this thing for what, 8 years now, I think.
All right. Well,
It's served me well.
Yeah.
So I can't complain about it. It just doesn't hold a charge.
I got one of those somewhere.
Yeah. It's all good. So hello everybody. Let's talk about what's on your mind. Kareem, what you got on your mind today?
Oh God. Did we talk about the Supreme Court decision last week?
Yeah. The overturning Roe v. Wade.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe we did.
Yeah.
It was big news. It was in all the papers.
Yeah. So they made another decision today.
Oh.
So the Supreme Court, or at least the conservatives on the Supreme Court, have decided that the finality of the court is more important than you being innocent.
Ha! That's an ego move.
Yes, so they have decided that the state court, if you get a shitty appeals lawyer at the state level, and they don't represent you well, and you find new evidence of your innocence, it doesn't matter.
You can't bring it forward.
Can't bring it forward.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. That's
Except for some very specific situations, but the specific situation does not include having a shitty lawyer.
Overturning 2 more precedents.
I guess they don't matter anymore.
Yes. So
And Ginny Thomas can do whatever she likes.
yes. So with that being said, and all the other shit that I've been dealing with in the last couple of weeks, if you do not decide to vote in 2022,
Mm-hmm.
this country, you pretty much can consider us an autocracy,
It's not looking great.
because in 2024, if the Republicans have the House and the Senate, they're not going to certify the election,
Right. Even if they lose.
even if they lose.
Yeah.
And right now, the straw poll says 47-42, doesn't matter who the candidate is, Democrat beats Republican.
Mhm.
So Luke Campbell decided today to post, why should we vote? and then got pissed off because people actually gave him reasons to vote, and then told him to stop dissuading people from voting by asking stupid fucking questions like that.
Is he from the 2 Live crew?
He's from the 2 Live crew.
Oh, that's what I thought so.
And I've seen some other dumb motherfuckers who posted similar shit, talking about what have you got from the Democrats. I'm gonna tell you what you haven't got from Democrats. They haven't been taking your rights.
That's a pretty big one these days.
That's a pretty big fucking deal. And
Mhm.
I've said this a million times. I'm gonna say it a million times more. You have a party who doesn't necessarily give you what they should, but they're not trying to take you back to slavery.
Right.
And you have another party who would like to put you back in slavery. If they could get away with it, they would do it. At this point, that's what I believe. If not, at least at that far, they've already told you that they don't want you in their tent.
I mean, just the whole decision making with women's rights.
Yes.
And women's bodily autonomy should tell you a lot.
Yes. And if you can't see that because you want to play Facebook and Twitter games, because that's what it is at this point. They're games where you want to sound intelligent or think you're smarter than the fucking room.
Oh boy.
Because this is what you're doing at this point. There's no more policy debates going on.
No, there haven't been for 5 years.
Yes, this is not a policy debate. This is these motherfuckers want to take your right and turn this into an authoritarian country, and the Democrats want to keep a constitutional republic.
And here's the thing. How serious is it? It is so fucking serious that a group of Republican strategists broke off, formed their own group to fight Republicans being elected.
Yes.
The thing that they're saying that I saw Adam Kinzinger, who is on the January 6th commission, he's one of the 2 Republicans. They tweeted that we don't think Democrats are taking the threat to our democracy seriously enough. And he retweeted it and said, absolutely.
Yes. And I 100% agree with him. And I've been saying it. The idea, the time for playing nice is done.
How did Germany end up where it did is the question we all used to ask. How does an industrialized, intelligent country end up in a situation where they're carting off large numbers of their population to death camps?
We're about to see it.
How does that happen? Well, you start otherizing people. You start demonizing anybody you disagree with. You make it okay to hate those people because they believe the way they believe, or they look the way they look, or they come from a background that they come from. And then it gets easier because they're not people, they're others.
Yep.
And they're looking to come for your way of life, whatever that means. That's how it happens. The seeds have been planted. They've been allowed to go.
And even the Republicans, some Republicans aren't taking it seriously enough.
No, they're still playing their fucking games.
Yeah, they're still playing
They're still playing their games. Ted Cruz is playing his fucking Ted Cruz games. Mitch McConnell is playing his Mitch McConnell games. You know who's not? Josh Hawley and all those fuckers.
No.
Because they're playing a different game altogether.
Yep.
It's a different game they're playing.
Yep.
And when they say outrageous shit, and we're going to hear some of it on the show coming up, they are not saying it to you to convince you. They're saying it to their base of people to make them angry and fire them up.
Yes.
And we're not going to get into the depths of it. But Bill Maher can go fuck himself 6 ways from Sunday. Because Bill Maher is nowhere near as smart as he thinks he is.
No.
And his bullshit 9-minute thing about why are there so many more gay people now than there were, and trans people, and blah, 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 blah. And he gets, at one point, the quote is either, Ohio is shaming them or California is making them. Let me tell you something, Bill. Ohio is shaming them.
I am going to say one thing to what Bill said, because he wasn't totally wrong.
No, there are kernels of truth
And
in that 9-minute turd.
And I'm going to tell you why I'm going to say that.
There's always a kernel in the turd.
Because, as you know, my girlfriend's niece lives with us.
Mm-hmm.
She came and told us that she was pansexual.
Okay.
She's not pansexual. She's fucking heterosexual. And when she told us she was pansexual, we were like, okay, well, at the time, I didn't even know what it was. Like, what the fuck is that? And she's like, oh, I don't have a preference. But we've watched her over the time, and see, her preference is boys. And in her desire to find a clique or a group, she chose something. So in that way, we do have to be careful with young people, because, and actually, I guess because they will find a way to fit in, and it may not necessarily be healthy. It's not, and that not saying that that's bad, but they will make decisions like that. And if you do have people with agendas, they will push that agenda and push those people into decisions that they weren't necessarily going to make. But there are more gay people than there were. And then
there aren't more gay people than
there were. There are just more people that are comfortable in saying that they're gay now.
Right.
So I still agree with you. Bill can go fuck himself, because he's been playing the fucking game that I was talking about, the semantic game, for the last couple years.
Yep.
So yeah, so he can totally go fuck himself. And anybody else that's playing that game, we are at the precipice of our country not being a country. We are at the precipice of everybody's fucking rights being taken away except for white men.
And as a white man, that really bugs the shit out of me.
Yeah.
It really does.
Because I think I might have said this last week, but when they go to take away, these motherfuckers are talking about taking away contraception, all kinds of birth control now.
You can see all the people in the state legislatures just rubbing their hands together, like, oh, this is what I'm putting forth right now. This is what's coming out. This is what's happening.
Yeah.
All of the things that in California, the politicians are going, shit, we need to put something forward to protect.
Yes.
All of these other states, there are motherfuckers that are out there going, we need to take this away.
Yes. And I want you to think about this. I'm going to say this again. And I might have said it last week, but I'm not sure. But I'm going to say this again. When certain people think about abortion, they're thinking about young girls, young women, or single women that are having random sex with people and just getting pregnant and thinking of it,
and using abortion as a form of birth
control. I want you to think about, how old is your wife now?
She's gonna be 40 this year.
She's gonna be 40 this year. So Jason and his wife are having sex, and she gets pregnant at 40. That is a high risk pregnancy at this point in time,
especially for her.
So at this point in time, you are going to have 40-year-old women who are going to be pregnant with children that are going to be possibly disabled from the get, that are not going to have a chance. And the people that are going to force them to have these children don't want these children.
Well, and it's not just the children. These women can die.
These women can die. Lucy McBath, who's she's a representative from Georgia. She told the story on the floor about trying to get pregnant, and the fact that she had to carry her fetus for 2 weeks, a dead fetus, for 2 weeks to try to let her body naturally abort it. And it never happened, and the doctor ended up having to do that. And And the fact that, you know, people could still see that she was pregnant, and for 2 weeks she had to deal with people coming up to her congratulating her on her pregnancy.
And she knows
And
her baby is dead.
She knows her baby's dead. So these are the stories that we're not thinking about or talking about.
The first one I was with when I was 20 years old, she got pregnant and she lost the baby about 5 months in, but it was still like she had to have it. She had to be aborted. Like it wasn't like there's anything that could happen
right
or be done in the situation. That would be a much different situation. Like, yeah, I mean, nobody's thinking about those types of situations.
Yeah. And
they just don't care.
Yeah, and the way some of these bills are written, there's a possibility that she would go to jail.
She'd go to jail.
Yeah,
and she was a minority too, so for sure.
She would have to prove that she didn't
try to abort the child. The child being stillborn.
Yeah.
Or you've lost the pregnancy, which happens in a good number of pregnancies anyway.
Way more than people like to admit.
Yeah. There's a reason people wait weeks and weeks and weeks before they tell other people, hey, we're pregnant, we're going to have a kid. It's because there's a chance that they're going to lose that kid. And you don't want to, you don't want to tell everybody and then have to tell everybody, oh no.
They tell you that.
Yeah.
They tell you that. And the doctors that tells you, like.
And back when I was a massage therapist, we had a rule that we wouldn't give a massage to somebody who thought they were pregnant that was under like a certain number of weeks because of that reason.
Yeah.
And because the thinking was that when that happens, especially in that time period, those people are looking for a reason why it happened. Right. And that you could be blamed for it, even though what you did had absolutely nothing to do with it. So it's a really something that you really need to be thinking about, and you really need to think about something beyond what your concept of what abortion is. And
well, the other side of this it's been brought up, obviously, but a lot of people don't even think about is, let's say you're a couple in your 30s and you're having problems conceiving, and you go the IVF route. Is that even going to be legal in some states?
Yeah.
Because they harvest the eggs, they fertilize them, and then they take the ones that look like they're the most viable and implant them. And the others are thrown away.
Yes.
In most of these states, that is technically going to be illegal. That will be considered murder.
Yes.
Under their statutes. It's fucking crazy.
Yes.
It's fucking crazy.
And get your heads out your asses. Get your asses out to the polls in 2022.
This year.
Don't fucking wait for 2024.
The primaries are on now. You can vote. The vote by mail shit's happening right now.
Yes.
We've got some coming up in the show. We've got some people, including one lady who's running for governor of Georgia.
Yes. Get your ass out to vote.
Yeah.
2022.
Because they're coming.
This is the final stand.
They're coming. Jason, what's on your mind?
Oh shit! I don't know if I can beat any of that.
It ain't about beating it.
No, I mean it is with my. Actually, I want to talk about beating it.
Sure.
Let's see. I'd had so many ideas of what I wanted to talk about. I think what I want to talk about though, more than anything else, is I was watching. There's this guy that I've been watching do reactions on YouTube. His name's Stevie Knight, and I've been watching him do reactions for probably about almost 2 years now. Because it was a little while into the pandemic when I started watching him, and I watched it because there was the new Eminem album had come out, and he's a black guy. He's talking about it and hip hop and stuff like that. So I was like, let's see what he's like listening to Eminem and for the first time. So I was like, let's see what he has to say. And it's funny because at the beginning, like he was saying everything I wanted him to say, being an Eminem, fan. But then there's a certain point that I was like, what, is he just servicing fans and this particular segment of fans? And as I keep watching, I think it like the last I haven't watched him for a while, and he had some reactions to the Kendrick Lamar album. I was all right, and then I put it on like, and I watched like this first reaction to the N95 track, and he's like going off like about like he's like, oh, it's probably about COVID, and about how they're trying to take rights away, and like he's wearing a shirt now that says, "If you're awoke, I'm awake. I'm awake." Oh, no, if you're woke, I'm asleep. That's what his shirt says. Like, and I'm like, oh fuck, dude. Like, what's going on here, dude? He's like totally, like, just like, I don't know. He's just definitely. I feel like he's, like looking at the comments. I'm like, he's just going for a certain demographic now, for sure.
He's
Well, I mean, he jumped on the Candace Owens.
Have you spotted him in the back in one of those Blacks for Trump shirts?
But the thing is, no, he's not that. He's not like that. He's educated. I mean, he's not as bad as that. But
Dude.
he doesn't understand, I think, somewhat of what the shirt saying, like, if you're woke, I'm asleep. What that's, I don't think, transmitting fully to, or maybe he does. Like, but the thing is, here's the thing: is he's listening to Kendrick album. He's like, oh man, this is great. And like the first thing is like N95, it's not about COVID at all. It's about filtration. Like you listen to like the song, it's like take out the foo-foo, take out the Wi-Fi. Like it's all about like all this shit that we're presented with, and like we have to get through to get to the real thing of what's going on, like whatever is in our lives or whatnot. But there's one part of the song where he says, what is cancel culture? And he like stopped it. He's like, yeah. He's like, well, what the fuck, And it's like, if you listen to it in the context of the song, when I heard that bit, it wasn't like fuck cancel culture. It's like, is cancel culture, like, to me, it was like, is it even a thing in the first place? Does cancel culture even exist? And if you listen to the entirety of the album, what he's saying there probably is it doesn't exist. It's just fucking a thing that's being made up and hit in our face with a bunch of shit all the time, because it's like, it's a talking point and it's a way to point fingers at shit and like not really have a real conversation about shit, instead of just inciting people. Anyhow, that's what I got. But instead, this guy's trying to find this other, this other idea of it fitting that.
Everybody's making everything political.
I know. And that's not that, but I wasn't
even like, you can be on Twitter talking about football and somebody turns the shit into a political, and it's like, everybody's trying to turn everything that's political. And this guy may have found that he can get paid by, look, I'm gonna tell you what, my buddy, he debated this guy that has a big YouTube following, is Sergeant. I can't think of his fucking name right now, but I'm gonna tell you what he told me after the debate, because I hit him with questions he didn't have fucking answers to, and then he was like, "Oh, you were the guy that was asking those hard questions," and then he's like, this is just my job.
Yeah,
like he doesn't necessarily believe the shit. This is his job. He's making money. It's the same way we ended up here. Those two fucking dudes that was posting shit and realized that they could get clicks from it and get paid. Mm-hmm. And they just start posting random shit so they could get paid.
And
it's the same shit.
That said, what I will say about that album, which is Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, is for me, when I drove up to Tahoe, not last Friday, but the Friday before that, when I went to that, I was in a bad headspace, kind of like I was just like questioning a lot of shit and like personal stuff and just negative self-talk and that type of shit as I'm driving up there. And I listened to that album and I'm driving up the mountain, so I'm sober. I'm not hell of a high listening to this album, getting philosophical in that way, but listening to it and really being present in it as I'm driving a stick shift, which is in its own sense, its own Zen,
especially on the mountain.
Yeah, especially going up the mountain. And I don't know, it was just like a confluence. It was I had just like, it's what I needed. Like hearing that album when I heard it, the way that I heard it, which a big part of it is talking about mental illness and like speaking your truth. regardless of what anybody else says to do, taking care of yourself and how important that is. And it's like a big love letter to AA almost in some ways. But that's what self-reflection is. And that's what, anyhow, would I say it's the best hip hop album I've ever listened to? I don't know. What I will say though, is that it did give me some type of transformation and hit me in a way that art does. And I'd recommend listening to it.
All right. I want to know this.
Yes.
The NBA playoffs are still happening,
Mm.
but our Sacramento Kings got a big win. They got the number 4 pick coming up. And there's been a lot of talk about who they're going to pick. Are they going to trade it? How are they going to expand that Fox and Sabonis and get the third person that's going to take us through? Is it too early to have hope?
Yes.
Is there any hope here? Now, Vlade Divac's quite possibly the worst general manager in the history of professional sports. Long gone. Long gone. As we watch Luka Doncic in the Western Conference Finals. You know who else is watching? Marvin Bagley.
I told you.
Marvin Bagley. Anyway, that's the thing. It's like, are they going to trade him? Are they going to pick? Because apparently, with this draft, there is a clear top 3,
Yes.
and then it gets murky.
Yes.
So it's going to be easy to miss.
So the two players that could go for are two players. One is a dynamic athlete that can hit a 3 about 25% of the time.
That's Javon, right?
Ivy, yeah.
Yeah.
The other one, we don't know what the fuck he can do because he didn't play at all last season.
Oh, so you're not thinking about the dude from Iowa then?
No, I'm thinking about,
because that's who I've heard most often.
so
It's going to be Ivy or the dude from Iowa.
So now there's another dude from Kentucky.
Yeah, there's 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah. So there's a dude.
It's going to be really easy to fuck this up.
Yeah. So there's the dude from Kentucky who is, like I said, who didn't play at all last year.
Right.
Who looks the part, but we don't know what the fuck he can do because he didn't play.
Yeah.
And then there's the guy from Iowa who is Keegan McKee.
Yeah. Who is apparently the safest pick.
I would take him because they have such a history of fucking it up.
Right. That's been the point I've heard over and over and over again. And
you could actually trade. I think you could trade 2 spots and get him, because I think the other 2 teams, the Detroit and the other team, are actually in a place where they could not draft him because they have the ability to take that risk.
Well, sure. Detroit's got Marvin Bagley.
And they got Marvin Bagley, and they got Jeremy Grant playing that 4 spot.
Right. And I've heard that's been one of the players I've heard talk about that the Kings might want. And I don't want to get too deep into King stock here because that's not what we do. But I'm just like, because I've been listening to the Locked On Kings podcast, and that host does a really great job. He works at ABC 10. He's an actual broadcaster. A lot of the sports podcasts that you listen to, it's just idiots like us who don't necessarily have any sort of connection with the team.
Yes.
Or any sort of it kills me that the Locked On Angels podcast, they've turned over to these brothers, and your laughing reminds me they laugh way too much and way too phony at their nonsense. Now they're starting to grow on me only because the team is good. If the team were bad.
Oh yeah.
So this is what the NBA went to. They went from players who had a lower ceiling, higher floor, to players that had a high ceiling with no floor.
Right.
And so that's how we've ended up with so many bad fucking drafts, especially the Kings, because they end up reaching for motherfuckers that they shouldn't.
Dude, I went back through the Kings draft history, and you can go back to Peja Stojakovic, and it's just fucking terrible.
Yes.
Terrible, with a couple of notable exceptions. De'Aaron Fox was good, has been good. Tyrese Halliburton is a good player. Tyreek Evans won Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
And DeMarcus Cousins, when he was here, was really good. Since he left, not so much.
It's that Cali weed, baby.
It's the injuries.
Actually, he was good in New Orleans, and then he got
It's the injuries. Yeah, he's had injuries. And but anyway, I just, for some reason, because I'm not really a big basketball fan, and honestly, I would rather see the Trailblazers do well. I don't know why, but I would. But it's the team in town, and if the team in town does well, and by the way, I've lived here since 2007. They have not only have they not been to the playoffs, they have not had anything close to a winning record in the almost 16 years that I've lived here. That means there's high school sophomores and juniors who in their lifetime have never seen a winning team. There are kids that are in college that have no recollection of a Kings team even close to the playoffs.
Oh, God, yeah.
That is fucking terrible.
I always ask that what if question is what if the NBA hadn't fucked the Kings out of that Lakers series?
Look, there have been way too many mistakes since then.
No. What I'm saying is, as far I think I think that would have changed this entire city.
Well, maybe, but
I went from being a Kings fan for like 2.5 years, 3 years, to be like to not watching the NBA again ever.
I stopped watching the NBA for like 5 years.
I will tell you this
because of that series.
The Seattle Supersonics have an NBA championship. Seattle does not have an NBA team.
Yeah.
So even if they hadn't fucked the Kings,
let us have our dream. Let us have a dream.
Even if the Kings won the title that year,
we are dreamers.
2 years.
2 years.
They might not be in Sacramento.
Oh no, go fuck yourself.
Right?
No, they would have won it 2 years.
I understand. And they still might not have been in Sacramento at this point.
I know those Maloofs.
That's a fact.
They would have been like, let's go to Vegas, baby.
You might be right there.
Yeah.
Maloofs would have been baby.
Vegas, Seattle. There was money out there.
Yeah.
They love money, especially once
they would have sold the team at that point.
Once they got into the casino business and started pissing away. Donald Trump and the Maloofs are the only people who fucked up the casino business before COVID.
Yes.
Before COVID. All right. Kareem, Juneteenth is coming up, and to mark the occasion, Walmart has rolled out Juneteenth ice cream. Celebration edition. It's great value. Celebration edition Juneteenth ice cream. Swirled red velvet and cheesecake flavored ice cream.
Why did I like Juneteenth better when white people didn't know what it was?
I mean, you've been saying this since the last time we talked about it.
Share, it says on the carton, share and celebrate African American culture, emancipation, and enduring hope.
White people will fuck up a wet dream.
It's getting dragged on Twitter pretty hard. They also, by the way, have a celebration edition of Pride ice cream. So
it's like the Juneteenth celebration that white people were trying to put on. I can't remember where it was.
It was North Carolina or Virginia or something like that.
Somewhere, and they ended up getting canceled because they got drugged so bad about it.
Yeah, because there's 3 white people that were the judges.
It was Arkansas.
It was Arkansas.
It was Arkansas, a place that should know better.
Yeah.
We talked about it. It was Arkansas.
Fuck out of here.
Question for you guys. The fuck's going on with Elon Musk?
I mean, he's just showing his true colors, baby.
Somebody came out on Twitter and said Elon Musk has been a Republican for 5 minutes and he's already been accused of sexual assault. They paid out on that.
Yes, $250,000.
This is not new. We're just finding out about it since he's been a Republican, but this is not new.
So
he's not a Republican. By the way, he's not a Republican. He is a rich guy who is looking to move the needle to make himself the story and make more money for his shit. Period. End of sentence. And if you're sitting there going, Elon Musk is for free speech and he's going to save the conservative movement, bada, 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 you're a fucking fool.
Just remember how he got his money, baby.
By the way, there are people. So all of these Trump rallies, the Trump rallies have started again.
Yeah.
The Trump rallies aren't free anymore. You buy a ticket.
Of course, yeah.
And the lowest level, I forget what they called it, but the lowest level of these tickets at these Trump rallies, do you know where you get to stand to see the stage?
In the parking lot.
No, you get to be in a room and watch it on TV.
What?
You have to pay $9 for a ticket to watch it on TV in a room that is not necessarily on site. So you're paying for parking, you're buying merch, and you're watching it on TV. They have packages that go to $5,000, which include a photo opportunity with Don Jr.
Wow.
And then they have
And a bump of Coke.
And a bump
Does
of
it,
Coke.
does it include a key?
Unclear.
Does it
unclear.
key hit?
Key bump.
Key bump.
And there's a level above that includes a meet and greet with President Trump. They do not put the price out for that.
Oh yeah, it's a blowjob.
If you have to ask,
You don't have enough money.
that's right. And here's the other thing about it. If you don't publish the price, you can grease people with more money or
Yes.
more.
Yes.
You can just throw stuff in. Well, it starts at 10 grand, but if you want to do this, it's an extra 2. If you want to do this, it's an extra this. It's an extra. It's an upsell. It's a fucking upsell.
Yeah.
It's like going to the mattress store.
Yeah.
Would
like
you
going
like
to-
these $200 pillows? The mattress won't be the same without them.
Yeah, or like going to doggy daycare, like overnight pet hotel. Like it's like, oh yeah, you can get the bronze package, but I mean, we'll only take your dog out like 3 times to go piss, and that's it. 10 minutes of time. Or I mean, if you're a good pet owner, you can get the silver, which is $20 more, but we'll play with them for 10 minutes.
So
Aside from that,
yeah. So
And then-
what is Elon gonna do after Tesla kicks him off their board? And he doesn't have the money to buy Twitter.
Well, in Tesla, because a lot of his money is tied up in Tesla stock, and
Yeah.
Tesla stock has been dropping.
Like fucking, it's down 44 or 46% since
And-
the beginning of the year.
And again, I saw a thread on Twitter. So again, take it with a grain of salt, saying that Tesla's valuation is completely inflated and wrong. That Tesla stock should be around $100.
And it's at
$650, I
650
believe,
right now. Yeah.
after a huge drop. Tesla's stock price has never been based on the number of cars that they're selling, the way that, say, Ford Motor Company stock is based. Ford stock goes up and down based
Yeah.
upon how many cars they sell. Tesla does not have that same thing. And a lot of their stock price goes up and down because they've got a celebrity CEO who is out there doing things, making noise. Look at this, look at me, bada bada. That's all part. It's all part of the shell game.
Yeah.
It's all part of the shell game.
So now, so the money he only has he's only 3 billion liquid.
Right. Which poor Elon.
Poor Elon.
Only 3 billion.
But you have to understand, when you look at companies like Apple's been converting stock into cash
Right.
for a minute. So they probably got like 250 billion cash on hand. He wasn't smart enough to convert cash. Everything that he's doing is Tesla stock.
Yeah.
And the money that he's borrowed, not even the money to buy Twitter, is backed by the Tesla stock, and that stock is dropping. So he doesn't even have the money at this point to buy Twitter. He can't even get the loan to buy Twitter at this point.
Right.
And that's why he's backing.
And that's why he's out there saying people are trying to silence him and get ready for the attacks on me. And Tesla is putting together an elite legal team to fight any of these attacks that come in.
And I watched a documentary yesterday about the cars and him, and there's still a lot of issues with those cars.
Yes.
So telling myself like Jason does all the time. Vanessa Hutchins has one, and the fucker stopped on her on the freeway yesterday for no fucking reason. And she's like, I hate to say this in public, but now I'm stuck on the side of the freeway. I hate this fucking Tesla. More of those stories are the more he puts himself out there like that,
The more
the more of those stories are going to come out.
Like the story about the Tesla that caught on fire a couple of days ago.
Yes.
And one of the features was the electrical system locked the person in.
Yep.
And a construction crew nearby had to smash the windows to get them out.
Yeah. More of those, the more he's out there, the more of those fucking stories are going to come out. And it's going to become a point where their board is going to be like, you are more of a liability than you are.
Well, doesn't Twitter have a claim to money from Musk because he started the whole deal in the first place? And now
there will be a penalty if this deal does not go through.
And what if in a funny twist of situation, the stocks on Twitter, like they go so low on that they have to buy, like the only thing he has is his stock that he has to then sell. And then Twitter becomes an owner.
His offer for Twitter stock is about $20 over what it's valued at right now.
Yeah.
Per share.
And he owes them $1 billion if he backs out.
So he'll only be $2 billion liquid.
$2 billion.
It'll be sad.
I'm so mad. Oh, I'm so angry.
All right. So as conservatives across the country wage war on reproductive rights, we talked about that before, demanding by law that women be forced to carry any pregnancy to term, regardless of circumstances, they frequently like to forget that they do absolutely nothing to support these people during pregnancies or after. In Mississippi, for example, where abortion will immediately become illegal when Roe v. Wade is overturned, has the highest rate of child poverty in the country and recently rejected a bid to extend postpartum Medicaid coverage. And in Louisiana, which has a similar trigger law that will go into effect upon Roe being reversed, maternity mortality rates are among the worst in the nation. But according to GOP Senator Bill Cassidy, the rate at which women die during pregnancy or shortly after is not as bad as it seems if you subtract the deaths of Black women, which apparently don't count.
And they don't count for this abortion bill either, because all they want is white babies.
In an interview with Politico, this is what Cassidy said, and I quote, "About a third of our population is African American. African Americans have a higher incidence of maternal mortality. So if you correct our population for race, we're not as much of an outlier as it'd otherwise appear. Now, I say that not to minimize the issue, but to focus the issue as to where it would be. For whatever reason, people of color have a higher incidence of maternal mortality."
If he has that fucking statistic, he has a statistic of why that fucking statistic is the way that it is. There's a reason why that's included with that fucking study that he's quoting. And that's the fucking shit that is the fucking most deliberate, most disinformational, fucked up shit in the world these fucking assholes do. They fucking use information that is true, but you fucking use it in the argument again. Like, and don't even mention it. Like, oh, well, it's because A, they don't usually have the health care that they require. B, it's because the doctors are usually not Black and they don't listen to the women when they're having issues or they have had previous issues. There's a whole list of the things, and they know very well why it happens.
Communities are underserved by the medical
community. Get the fuck out of here with your
Yes.
fucking bullshit, man. I can't believe nobody fucking called him out on that fucking bullshit right there. Like, somebody like, that's some fucking, do your fucking job, journalists. Like, you call, that's it. I know that. I fucking know that. A white 44-year-old man in fucking Sacramento.
Well, he's a white 60-something-year-old man in Louisiana.
He knows it because he's been told it his whole political career, and he's chosen to ignore it. Unless his mistress, one of his mistresses, one of them beige babies he got out there that he ain't told nobody about yet.
Yeah. By the way, Kareem has said it earlier. Get out there and vote. These are the people that are going to be making all the decisions if you don't get out and vote.
Yep.
And if you think, oh, it doesn't matter. Marjorie Taylor Greene has a podcast now.
If anyone who was a Democrat steps out of line because they've decided they can't go along with the horrible, disgusting, and failing ways of the Democrats, and they actually see the light, see the truth, and they go, I'm going to try voting Republican because these people over here make sense. They like everybody. They think our Constitution.
They like everybody, Nate.
They like everybody.
Except
now we just heard Senator Bill Cassidy talk about African-American women like they don't matter. at all. But, they like everybody. They just make sense.
For everyone. They don't want to turn your kids gay and have, transgender, and they don't want to kill babies in the womb. And
so they don't want to turn your kids gay. Republicans don't want to turn your kids gay.
No. Okay.
As a Democrat steps out of line,
Hold on, I gotta
because
fast forward through this a little bit. Here
gender, and they don't want to kill babies in the womb, and they really want a thriving economy. They want everyone to have money, and they want everyone to have a job, and we kind of care about the border.
Okay, you kind of care about the border. I'll give you that one. You don't want everybody to have money. You don't want everyone to have a job. If you wanted everyone to have money, the minimum wage would have gone up in the past 20-something years. The one in California has. A lot of states have. Federal one hasn't.
So people step out of, they start voting Republican like Alon says he's going to do. And what happens? Oh, boy, they come after you. They did it to President Trump. We've seen it done to celebrities. We've seen it over and over.
Because they're talking shit and utter fucking nonsense.
If anyone.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Celebrities. John Voight, for instance, he had things to say.
Our hope, our faith, and we shut down. Through the dark, we found some light. We made music, we cooked, we tried to laugh, but life was dark.
Sure.
We stood the test of time for our trail on this earth. We made it through and lived to tell this tale, but we lost good people through the loss of our president's historic chair. Our President Trump, with all his love for this nation, was told he cannot sit in that chair.
That's because he lost the fucking election by millions and millions and millions and millions of votes.
Yep.
He lost the Electoral College.
Despite a fairly well organized plan to.
That's why he can't sit in the chair anymore, because he fucking lost. Why are they making fun of these celebrities like John Voight? I don't know, because he's talking fucking bullshit.
I mean, Angelina Jolie doesn't seem so crazy now when she said that she didn't want her kids to have any contact with their grandfather.
Well, I don't think we thought she was crazy for that. I think we thought she was crazy because she married Billy Bob Thornton and they was drinking each other's blood, and her and her brother.
But we didn't realize she was crazy until Brad Pitt said, "I can't anymore."
Yes. And
Brad Pitt threw up his hands and went, "Nope."
Yeah, she was kissing her brother on the red carpet like he was the love of her life.
Nope.
Yeah, she had at least a good enough mind to say that her
crime. That's not going to happen either. We're not making backroom deals with.
Okay, so there's a lady named Candace Taylor, Kandiss.
Oh yeah,
she is running for the Republican nomination for governor of Georgia against Brian Kemp, who, by the way, was going to round up the illegals and drive them back to the border in his pickup. If you recall his campaign ads from when he was running. That guy, he also shot things in his ads. But now, because he wouldn't go along with the idea of finding votes for Trump, he's a problem. So, Candace Taylor is running against him. Let's take a listen.
Crime? That's not going to happen either. We're not making backroom deals with sheriffs. They're the highest constitutional officer in their county, and they're going to do the will of the people. I don't mind handcuffing them either. So, I mean it. I've heard from sheriff corruption all over the state. We've got some awesome sheriffs, and praise the Lord for them. Pray for them. Even if you have a corrupt one, pray for them, and pray that they're replaced really quickly if they're corrupt. But I don't care. I don't mind handcuffing any single person who breaks the law and goes against our government. The Constitution says when you commit treason, it's death by firing squad. I didn't write it. It's in there. It's serious. When you swear to God to uphold a document that says you'll do the will of the people and you will honor every single thing in that Constitution, you do that. If you can't do that, then you better understand that.
Okay.
She's just stringing a bunch of words together to try to make it sound like she's.
Here's what she's done without realizing it. She has called for Donald Trump and several other people in his camp to be executed by a firing squad because it's in the Constitution, because clearly they did not uphold their oaths to the Constitution. Now, she'd disagree with that assessment, but I'm telling you, she just called for that without realizing it. By the way, there have been corrupt sheriffs in Georgia. I point to Sheriff Roscoe P. Coltrane,
Yes.
for instance. Like, he had it out for them Duke boys like you would not believe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Here's Candace's ad.
We'll fight fire with fire in Georgia.
So now she's shooting a flamethrower into the night, apparently starting a grass fire. And then the text in a weird font that says she'll light a fire.
Light a fire on fire.
I'm Candace Taylor. I'm the one you've been waiting for.
You're not.
Candace Taylor.
You walk out. There's two men in white scrubs with a net. I'm Candace Taylor, and I'm the one you've been waiting for. Yes, ma'am. Come with us.
Well, hopefully they're holding out the net to catch her ass.
Right. Vote.
Get your ass out and vote.
It is important to vote because in a lot of places, she's not the craziest thing you'll run across running against the Democrat.
Yes.
Now, she's probably not going to win because David Perdue, who was Senator David Perdue, is also running. But my guess is Brian Kemp will probably win the Republican nomination.
Yes. Oh, he got old Mike Pence off the snide to come support him.
Well, who cares? How's that going to help? Didn't we want to hang Mike Pence? I mean, not us.
Well, you know, now there's a definite separation,
Right?
between in the Republican Party.
It's true. There's absolutely a different one. I don't have the sounder for sex toy news, but we have sex toy news.
Yeah.
Thanks to Kareem. Let me see if I can find something close.
I'm literally looking at my neighbors now and going, I will eat your ass.
A TikTok star's pleasure turned into a real pain in the butt. She says she got a sex toy stuck up there and had to get it surgically removed. The woman, who goes by the handle at Sophizalofs, lives in the UK, shared her horror story and even posted the x-ray images of the vibrator inside of her body with the caption, "I got a vibrator stuck up my arse."
Ooh.
The TikToker says things got out of hand when she was using the 3-inch literally out of hand.
Literally out of hand.
When she was using the 3-inch toy, and when she couldn't get it out, she sought medical help.
That's what 3 inches looks like.
That's what 3 inches looks like, Jason.
So there's a new show on is it TLC
Yeah,
Oh,
there's
I don't
only
know,
like
man.
there's only like 5 episodes, Kareem.
called Stuck.
Yep, stuck.
And,
She would be on it.
She would be on it because there was a lady who was on it
Yep,
who had the same thing happen.
sure did.
Uh,
Sure did.
Does it make this sound when it comes down?
I think that's the sound it made going in.
No, the sound that goes in is. that's why it's hard to pull it out because it's like sucked in. You know, it's like.
That's pretty much what happened too.
Now she lives in the UK, so they have health care for everybody.
Oh yeah, good.
So good for her.
Good for
Now
her.
she couldn't go to the hospital the night it happened. I don't know why, but she couldn't.
There's dick in her.
So she tried sleeping with the vibrator inside,
Oh, that's so sad.
but Jason, the toy continued to buzz throughout the night.
But Jason.
It made it difficult for her to sleep.
Oh man, that's sad.
When she finally went to the hospital the next morning, she said doctors struggled to get it out, and the only option was a surgical procedure.
Oh.
She said she awoke from surgery to find her vibrator next to her in a plastic bag, and to her surprise, the thing still had some battery life.
She probably used it again as soon as she got home.
I would hope she washed it off. Charge it up. It's got to be a rechargeable one. She had to have it on low setting too, because if you had it on full blast, that would have burned out.
Yeah,
I would think. Not that I'd know, but I mean, you'd think.
You think?
Now, Jason, your wife breastfed, right?
Yep.
You also have pet chickens, right? So pet birds.
Yep.
Well, we now have a story of a breastfeeding mom who sprung into action while breastfeeding to save their pet goose from a bald eagle. She was breastfeeding her baby. She ran out of the house and saved the family's pet goose. Here come. Hold on, let me get the.
In her drawers.
You have to. The sound is delightful. Yeah, she's only wearing panties.
That's right.
I'm glad that she kept the rest of the situation.
She's only wearing panties, and she's still holding the baby.
Good for her.
That's right.
And here's what it sounds like. So the first sound you heard the eagle's wings flapping. You heard the goose going, fuck, 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 fuck. She runs out, goes, hey, 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 hey. The eagle lets go, and then the goose runs back to the house going, holy shit! Again.
Yes. Hilarious.
The goose runs back by her, and this fucking goose, wings outstretched, runs right by her, hits her leg with the wing on the way by. I was like, fuck this noise. And this happened like right on their front porch.
Yeah.
The goose was like a foot from the front door when this eagle came swooping down in. That was amazing.
Eagle's not a fan of white women now either.
You need to show that video to your wife.
I'm gonna have to show it to her.
It's exactly right.
She'd be like, oh, bye, chicken. She'd be like, bye, goose.
Right, because this was the front yard too.
Yeah.
All right, nice for sure. She'd be like, bye.
Titties akimbo.
I mean, that's not what she cares about. She's just like, I'm not getting. I have a baby. I'm not getting up.
I like the word. I like the term akimbo. I'm just gonna say it. Titties akimbo.
Let's leave the hustle and bustle for small town news.
All right, we go now to Redding, California. Redding, California, where it was rodeo time. And hold on, there's going to be an ad first, so I have to enjoy more ways to PayPal. By the way, my wife was telling me there's someone in Redding who's running on the campaign promise that they're going to ban these self-driving cars because they're a menace.
Okay.
Just wanted to share that. All right, here we go. Oh, there's the bull. Just threw off a rider. And then got loose from the Redding rodeo grounds on Friday night and sent a person to the hospital before being caught near the Sundial Bridge.
Oh, man.
According to police and eyewitnesses. Now, just before 10 p.m., Shaxam and Redding police confirmed the bull broke free from the rodeo area, but had been contained. The RPD said the bull struck 6 people and sent 1 to the hospital. They said the rest went home with minor injuries. Hey, congratulations. You get to go home with minor injuries. A local woman walking along the river trail near the Sundial Bridge told KRCR she witnessed cowboys wrangling the bull and a woman being carried into an ambulance via stretcher. She said the woman was part of a group walking near the Turtle Bay Exploration Park when the bull entered the area.
Oh, I've been over there.
Right?
not really a whole lot of places you can hide if a bull comes at you right there.
They add local man Rob Innes sent a video of the incident showing the moment when the bull jumped into the crowd of viewers. Oh, hold on. There's an ad. Because of course there is. It's only like 5 seconds.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Here we go. Here's what it sounds like. It's the same video from above, KRCR. Fool me once, shame on me. The Reading Rodeo said the bull jumped the arena's fence during the final section of the bull riding event. Their livestock professionals contained the bull near the Sundial Bridge and immediately placed it into a trailer. The quote, "We wish best to all those affected. The safety of our fans is our highest priority, and we appreciate their support." That's from the Reading Rodeo officials in a press release that clearly came from the lawyers. That is a lawyered press release.
Harmon and Knitsky.
"We wish the best to all those affected. The safety of our fans is the highest priority, and we appreciate their support.
We're not at fault.
Look out.
It's not our fault.
Check your ticket.
That's right.
We said it wasn't our fault." So that's going to do it for Small Town News. That's going to do it for us this week for the WTH podcast. So to recap, vote.
2 times.
Was it Jay-Z that said vote or die?
That was Puffy.
Puffy. Man ahead of his time. Vote or die.
Yeah, don't forget Bova.
Yes.
Well, Bova was the bull that got out of the
Bova was
this bovine.
Bova D's nuts.
and it is too soon to get excited about the Kings or hopeful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't look for excitement or hope.
No. Wait till after the pick.
So, and then wait for the explanation.
Yes.
Oh, we felt Marvin Bagley was a much better choice than Luka Doncic. That guy kept his job for several years after that.
Yeah.
Several.
Yes.
God love Vladdy Divac and all he did as a player in Sacramento.
She kept it at that.
But Jesus, what a shit GM.
Yes.
Fucking awful. And he had Peja hanging around. He was no help. Clearly no help.
I'm like, how the fuck? The question is, how the fuck did those two miss on Luka?
Well, my guess is they had something else against him
Must have been.
for whatever reason, or they'd already drafted Fox, so they thought for some reason that De'Aaron Fox was so much better than Luka Doncic was going to be. Because here's what you could have done: you could have drafted Luka Doncic and traded De'Aaron Fox.
Yes. They thought, I said it before, they thought that they got Ja Morant when they drafted De'Aaron Fox. And that's not the case.
No. I mean, he's a talented dude. He does have some skills. But in the NBA, if you can't...
I lost all hope in the Kings last season when they traded Tyrese.
Well, they did get Sabonis back. So
Again.
at least they got something back. So we'll see how it all plays out. But hope is dead. Hope is dead for the Kings. Jason's going short.
I sunk to new lows.
What's really funny is we do have people who come in to do podcasts who do like to sit that low, and they're doing video too. And I'm just thinking, because everybody can see themselves on camera when they're doing a video podcast.
You can't see me that well right now.
It feels tilted when the person on the end does it. The whole screen looks tilted, even when it's not. So, anyway, have a great week. We'll see you next time. Next Monday is Memorial Day, so we'll figure out if we're going to be here on Memorial Day or the day after. But we'll be back with a new show next week and figure it out. And by the way, don't go up to anybody who's alive and say Happy Memorial Day. Thank you for your service. No, that's Veterans Day.
But what if you wish they were dead?
Then that would be weird.
Happy Memorial Day. Like I'm just a vet. I'm not dead. Like, oh, that's too bad.
And we're done.